Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the Maryville University Hockey Center side of tonight's Game 2 out of 2 against the Grand Valley State Lakers and your Maryville Saints. This is the Lou Fuse pregame show right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network. I'm Todd Panula. I'll be bringing you all of tonight's exciting Division I women's action as once again the Saints look to take the sweep against the Lakers here tonight. Let's open up talking a little bit about what happened last night. It was a rather impressive 3-1 victory for your Saints over the Lakers. It was an opening first period that belonged to Ellie Rutherford as she managed to score 2 goals despite the team overall only having about 9 shots on goal in that opening period. So it wasn't necessarily the offensive output in terms of shots that the Saints would have liked. But as long as you put it in the back of the net, it doesn't matter if you have 20 shots or 2 shots. You got the 2 goals. They took that 2-0 lead into the first intermission, and they were feeling pretty good about themselves, despite a late push from the Lakers to where they outshot Maryville within that first 20 minutes. But ultimately it was for naught because the Saints managed to get some good special teams on the penalty kill, and they kept the Lakers off the board within that first period. They wouldn't keep them off the board the entire game, though, as the Lakers were going to get their lone goal of the contest within the second period. It was a second period goal by Melanie Scram that happened at 5:26 of the second period. So it kind of made things a little bit nervous for the Saints because they couldn't get the offense going due to some fantastic goaltending out of Allison Hunley. She ended up on the night with a total of 42 saves out of 45 shots, but ultimately the Saints would coast in the third period. Again, a lot of shots on goal, 20 shots just within the third period alone, 45 in total as I mentioned. They added an insurance goal. Paige Stelzer got her offensive year rolling with a goal at 6:49 of the third period, and the Saints would make that hold up for the rest of the game as they won by 2. They get their 4th win of the year, and they improve to 4-3-1, improving their home record to 2-1-1. They'll look for that 3rd home victory here this afternoon, or late evening, what have you. But they're going to be up against it as the Lakers looking to get on the board somehow. They need some offense. They've struggled to score some goals during this year, but they've kept their opponents relatively close within the final score lines. Not too many games have got out of hand despite the shorthanded nature of their slimmer bench compared to some of their opponents. But they're also on their 3rd game in 3 days. As we mentioned yesterday, they lost 5-1 to McHenry back on Friday night. The 3-1 loss yesterday, and then they face Maryville again this afternoon. So the Saints a little bit fresher, but it's all about their mentality. They have the depth, they have the scoring, they have the defense, they have the goaltending. All of that favors the Maryville Saints. We'll see whether or not they can pick up a victory here tonight. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have the puck drop between the Lakers and the Saints here from the Maryville University Hockey Center.
This is my calling, where I was always meant to be. And everything I've worked for, everything my team has worked for. Every practice, every drill has led me here. When the lights go up, and we hit that ice, it's all about that one perfect moment. Because this is our calling.
Start on the backside. In goal, getting her first start here on home ice. It is going to be Sage Legault, a freshman out of Swanee, Georgia. So she gets her first start here on home ice. Her parents are here. They made the trip up from the Atlanta area, so hopefully she will have a good performance for them. Back on defense, it's the captain, Emma Gerwitz, guarding the one side, and joining her on the other side on defense is going to be Manu Kelsall. On the forward side of things, we've got Sydney Poisson on left wing. Ellie Rutherford will be in the middle, and on the other wing, it'll be Anna Callhammer. So there are your starters as we take a look at Sage Legault quickly. Some stats, not too much to talk about, as this is, once again, her first start here on home ice. In fact, her first game of the season, so an important game for her to try to get things rolling in her Maryville career. So we're underway, and we've dropped the puck. We apologize for the technical difficulties, waiting for our camera to fire up. And we'll do an old school radio type broadcast for you until that gets up and working. In the early going, there's already a collision on the side of the net, and we get our first whistle. Referee has blown things down as the net was dislodged inside the Grand Valley zone. Grand Valley is 0-7 on the year. They're going with a different goaltender here this afternoon. Sammy Schultz is in between their pipes. They say that puck, or the net, was dislodged by Maryville. So the faceoff comes in the neutral zone here on the near side. Won by Grand Valley. Schultz sent it up the zone but not out as Morris kept it in. Back to McGowan, cross-ice pass off the boards. Dawson with a slapper towards goal. She was trying to connect with St. Louis in front, but it was just a bit too far behind. Morris ties it up along the near side boards. McGowan steps up as well. Grand Valley brings it up through the neutral zone. Scram will send it in just to the far side of goal. Tracks down the puck, intercepted by Dawson. Comes to the near circle, looking for McCallion, as she was one of the offensive bright spots yesterday for Grand Valley, despite not necessarily getting a goal. She had some good shots, some good chances, though. Intercepted in the offensive zone as O'Leary tries to flick one towards goal. Brennan was charging in, but too many Grand Valley sticks in the way in the early going. Chopped down the ice, deflected puck, so no icing, despite the fact that it was on the wrong side of the red line. O'Leary with a little tapper towards center. It bangs back and forth. Furbit gives it up to Brennan. She crosses the line on the attack from the right wing, drops it off the circle. O'Leary puts it into the mixer. Grabbed by the Lakers as they look to head up ice. Off the near side boards. A little bit of a hip check thrown there by Furbit. No penalty. No, there is going to be a penalty coming. So Furbit is going to take the first penalty of the game, and the Saints will be shorthanded, handing Grand Valley their first power play. Lakers were 0 for 3 with the man advantage yesterday afternoon. They did manage some good offensive showings in that first period power play, getting about 5 or 6 shots on goal, but just not able to beat Sawyer Duncan. Schultz drops it back straightaway point and then gets the return feed in the near side corner. Sets up shot. Sprott gets it on the near side point. Slap shot coming. A long one off the post. That one went through traffic, and it beat Legault just under the blocker's side. She's got that blocker on her right hand. She's able to stop this one. Collision puts some players into the net. Puck disappeared. The referee blew the whistle. So play was stopped regardless of whether that puck crossed the line. I don't believe it ever did. But still a flurry of activity for the Lakers here on their first power play. Sprott gets in the high slot, drops back towards the point, near side wall to Sasek. They look to exchange places. Now Sasic walks the line. Near side Sprott from the circle. Left-handed shot. Initial save made, and then the rebound. Score! The goal had lost her goal stick, and she was somewhat pushed out of position as well on the flurry of activity. She was kind of looking around, perhaps hoping that the referee would say that she was interfered with, but that is not going to happen, so the Lakers get the first goal of the game. Looks like Sprott will get credit for it at 3:20. So an early penalty ends up costing the Saints. They trail by 1. The next goal becomes all important. If you're Grand Valley, all of a sudden you find yourself a little bit of a cushion as this one's deflected up into the Grand Valley bench. But if it's Maryville, you get the momentum back on your side. Statistically speaking, the way that the game is played today, you don't figure this one is going to end up as a 1-0 score. But odd things have happened. It's going to take some clamp down defense by the Lakers to keep this scoreline as it is. Lakers chip it in on the far side. 4 minutes played here in the period. McGowan tracks it down. Gives it away on the far side of the net. It was intercepted by Hancock, but some back-checking pressure by Maryville was able to thwart any kind of chance on goal. Rutherford skates in on the near side from the corner. Takes a spill along the end wall. Pushed out in front. Poisson put it through the crease but wide. Step up by Nab, but she comes up empty, so that puck will go all the way down the ice. And despite the fact that Nab was there to at least attempt to play it, they do call this an icing call. So the face-off will return all the way down in the Grand Valley zone with 15:32 to go in the first period. Off the draw, Rutherford pushed up against the wall. Long shot goes into the far side corner. We welcome you in visually now to the Maryville University Hockey Center as we've got our camera up and running. Again, apologize for the technical difficulties. Popped over the head of Nab, tracked down by Toole back in her own zone. Roshwich puts on the pressure, but Toole slides past. She backhands it into the zone, and then Morris goes on the chase. Hancock gets there first, taps it off the wall to herself. Zone exit pass from Sasic. Ends up finding Hancock. She skates in on the far side and then is blasted by Gurwitz. Surprisingly, no penalty there. Here comes St. Louis. She is twisted around. And again, I don't say that that's a penalty in terms of that's a good hockey play, really. But just this season has become more confusing than anything in terms of the women's game. Last year, that would have been a penalty because basically, unless you were going into a board battle, you weren't really allowed to make a whole lot of body contact. They've lessened that this season, which is good to see. There's no reason why there can't be physicality in the women's game. They're more than willing to go out and hit people. But it makes it confusing from a fan standpoint because that would have been a penalty last season, and we've seen similar hits called a penalty this season. So it just kind of opens things to interpretation. Nevertheless, 1-0 is your score. Maryville trying to track this down. It crosses all the requisite lines, so we get an icing call. Saints trying to get something going on the offensive end. They have yet to have a shot on goal and really haven't even put one towards goal. They had the Poisson one that kind of glided through the top of the crease. and one or two that popped over the net, but other than that, it's been tough sledding for the Maryville offense, as Grand Valley has come out much more solidly here in this game too. Gerwitz tripped over the blue line. Fortunately for her, she got just enough of that puck to force an offside call. 13:40 to go here in the opening frame. Grand Valley State leads 1-0 on a Sprott goal. She tapped in a rebound at 3:20. McGowan has the puck. She'll take it back behind her own goal. Looks to head north. Scram is on the pressure. Dawson. Rink wide, finds McBain. She returns the favor. In comes Argyropoulos. Back for McBain, and it was just a bit too far out of her reach. Speaking of too far behind, that pass from Scram kind of turned her around. She couldn't get a clean stick onto it. Ortiz is able to clear just under the stick of Furbit. Up top from Toole. She kicks at it. And the bench is actually open. That's dangerous. Saints come in. The shot turned away by Schultz. She sprawls out and keeps it out a second time as well. Little Dominic Hasek action there, going on the stomach. Furbit pinches in from the point to keep it alive. Flips it through the top of the crease, but nobody home in white could get a stick to it. And now Grand Valley comes out to center. Skating up is Lefebvre. She comes in from the left circle, takes a shot, glove save. .12:21 left to go in the period. Saints finally have a couple shots on goal, still getting outshot 4-2. Gerwitz takes the puck off the draw. It's off the stick of Cooper. St. Louis will bring it in from the left circle to the hash marks on the half wall, peels back. Kelsel sends it around the wheel. Intercepted in the middle, and then Gerwitz will tap it back in. 8 minutes played here. Puck pinballed back and forth a couple times. Saints have it. The ricochet pass off the back of the skates of St. Louis. She gets it again. And this time just wraps it on around, heading off for a change. Lakers collect. O'Brien got a stick to it, but couldn't keep it in the zone. And then the trail linesman, I believe, called an offside. Interesting decision. Not saying it's incorrect, but you wouldn't think that he would have the angle, but his partner was a little bit tied up. He was kind of in the middle of that tussle over by the Lakers bench. Face-off won by the Lakers. They tried to go to the far wing to McCallion for the pass. O'Leary comes in for the Saints. She has it hacked away. O'Brien is trying to get into Gretzky's office. Instead, the Lakers were a little bit wise to that. Off a skate. Referee's arm stays down, so no penalty coming despite the stick in the vicinity of the player going down. O'Leary hits the ice as well as she caught up along with Schultz. Again, no penalty, so 2 no calls, evening things out. Lefebvre tried a backhand pass in towards the slot. Intercepted. Schultz gives it off to Lefebvre. She stick handles into the corner. Centering pass is knocked down. McCallion tapped it in just wide. Argyropoulos saw the player coming, got the pass off to O'Leary. She skates in on her off wing, puts it across, nobody home. McGowan up from the blue line, had it slip away, so Schultz was there. That's Angie Schultz. Again, Sammy Schultz in between the pipes. And here's a little scoop shot. The puck loose behind the net, though. They try to fire it back out in front, but nobody is there for Maryville. McGowan blows a tire, but got the pass off into the corner. Good strength there from McBain. Got it out in front, but again, the Lakers collect. On the counterattack, slick move. But Sasek couldn't hold on in the end. Broschwitz brings it across, barely onside as her teammates touch up. Sprott gets it here on the near side. Return pass to Broschwitz. Sasek picks up the loose change. Sprott comes in, looking directly down at the puck, so that's a blind pass into the middle. Dawson says thank you. Poisson cannot clear it. Now it's dangerous in the middle. Second attempt by Poisson finds Rutherford. And the puck crossed the blue line offside. 9:15 to go here in the period. The offense for both teams has cooled off quite a bit despite the end-to-end nature of the game. 7 shots on goal for the Lakers. Callhammer gets a little bit of a slash across the stick and clears it out to center. Broschwitz has it for the Lakers. Intercepted by Rutherford. She comes in 2-on-1 with Poisson, and the pass was too hot to handle. Nab trying to get over to the wall. Gets a piece of that puck into the slot. Again, that wasn't even an intentional pass, but right now things just not working for Maryville in terms of having a player where the puck goes. Lefebvre will take a shot. That whistles just over the head of Sage Legault. Peeling back around, Schultz gave it off. Pushed up the wall. Lefebvre trying to get it onto the forehand in the high slot and has her stick lifted. Second time, third time, still managed to stay on it. Morris got it up the wall. Schultz keeps it in. Rink wide pass taken away. Cooper pops it out. Here comes St. Louis. She's got the speed, but the defender had the angle. Pushed out to center. No icing. Under 8 to go in the period. Stretch pass finds O'Leary. She has to circle back. She puts it in. Here's Brennan with the wrister. That goes up high, pinned up against the shoulder. And we'll get a stoppage with 7:43 to go in the first. Saints trail on a Sprott goal back in the first 4 minutes. But their offense is starting to kind of dig in a little bit. Kelsel to Gerwitz. A wrister knocked down by the defender. O'Brien comes over to disrupt. O'Leary from the corner. Back for O'Brien, and it was cut out by Sprott. Hancock taps it in behind the goal. A little flick off the toe of O'Leary. Gerwitz, that was going wide off the stick. It was knocked down by Broschwitz. O'Leary's going off on a change. McBain comes out. Sprott. Oh, she raised her head. If this was Division I's men's, Sprott would be laying down at center ice. Because McBain even thought about it. She smartened up, decided not to, but she had Sprott completely lined up. And now an interesting turn of events is Maryville is going to get a power play. Sprott is going to go into the box. So the Saints with an opportunity to tie things up with the man advantage. Off the draw, Grand Valley had it initially. Maryville's able to steal it, but it's tied up in the corner. Rutherford, St. Louis, and Poisson were all there. Good step up, though, from O'Leary. Able to steal it back. Now the Saints have possession. Gerwitz takes the wrister. That's blocked. And Lefebvre is going to feel that one. No icing here, obviously, as Grand Valley is shorthanded. Gerwitz muscled up from behind. Lefebvre comes in to steal it away. O'Leary gets it up the wall. St. Louis just achingly reaching for it. Couldn't quite get there. O'Leary crosses the line on the attack as Poisson was running a little bit of interference. O'Leary goes rink wide. Too far behind Callhammer. And then it's just barely tapped over the line. 65 seconds left in the power play. Here comes Poisson from the near wing, and she rims it around. That one hit the linesman, which allows the Lakers to clear. And again, it's just been an odd first period for Maryville. It has a lackadaisical feel, but it's not because of the effort necessarily from Maryville. They just haven't quite had the legs. Because there's a big difference in that. You can have a game where you just wonder what the players are doing. Right now, Maryville's connecting on quite a bit. They just haven't been able to utilize their speed and connect on passes like that. Is the Lakers are able to clear it down. Time enough for one more push up the ice. Here comes Rutherford. She turns on the afterburners. Comes up the near side wall. Cuts towards the net. Lost the angle. Recovers off the end wall. Gives it over to Gerwitz. She's going to take it. And there's a glove hand side save. It actually went off the elbow. Rutherford sets up behind the net. Tries to chip it back. O'Leary looking for St. Louis in front. And now we've got a stoppage. Are there too many players? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, Maryville with 6 skaters out there. So a miscommunication on a line change ends up costing Maryville a player. Coach Lang elects to send Sydney Poisson into the sin bin. And I've always found that to be an interesting decision. A lot of times it ends up being a player that isn't going to be utilized on your penalty kill anyway. But statistically, as this one's deflected from the near hand side, and it's 2-0. I believe Schultz was able to knock that out of midair. If not her, definitely one of the Lakers, and Sprott's going to go through the celebration line, so she's got 2 power play goals. Fantastic deflection out of midair. With Sprott able to get her 2nd power play goal of the afternoon. And the Lakers find themselves up by 2 goals. So that one stings even more than the first one. Because the first one, you figure it's like, okay, that it's a physical penalty. I believe it was Shelby Furbett who took the body check call on that first goal. But you give her credit. She's trying to get a little spark going, go for the physicality. That one ends up costing the team. This one really stings, though, for Maryville because they were building pressure off their own power play, perhaps starting to take a little bit of the steam out of the legs of Grand Valley. And then you end up with 6 skaters. That's just miscommunication by somebody that needed to go off for a change and did not. And over-eagerness by whoever came off the bench. For the 2nd time in a row, Grand Valley puts it in the back of the net. Here is Stelzer. She's tripped up by a trail leg. No penalty forthcoming. The referee says it was incidental. 3:15 to go. The goal came at 15:25. McCallion drags it on around from the near wall. Centering pass, but Schultz was tied up. She was right there. May have even got a stick to it. There was a lot of sound. Here comes Poisson. She's in 1-on-2, drags it around one defender, back to the forehand, and the puck slipped away. Tried to center, but Callhammer was too close. Rutherford gets a stick to it. Rutherford taken down. Blocker save, oh baby! That was right there for Maryville. You thought it was going to be 2-1. The referee's arm is up in the air. Somebody's going into the penalty box. A tripping call has been made. 2:44 is left in the period. It's just a question of who's going in. Jessica Plowman will take a seat. So the power play totals are now tied up once again. But here's a shorthanded chance for Sasek. She comes in. And a good back check from Rutherford disrupts all of that. Poisson just kind of shuffled that one out to center. She was not pressured, so she could have easily skated up to it. But that just kind of shows you the day that it's going to be for Maryville right now anyway. Poisson takes the long pass, puts it off the boards, looking to track it down herself. St. Louis is there, but again, just a step too slow, and just everything's sort of disrupted right now for Maryville. Coach Lang is looking for some sort of combination that's going to click. Saints have it, but the pass was too far behind Brennan. Morris picked it up. Brennan gets up to the line, but Schultz bravely comes over and takes a piece of that puck. And the bouncer clears down. 2 goals on 6 shots right now for Grand Valley. Both of them coming on the power play, so not too much that Sage Legault could do. And now the referee had his arm up in the air again. And did they get too many men on Grand Valley? I believe they did, because there's 5 skaters out there. So now Maryville with a huge opportunity here that you almost absolutely have to capitalize on. 49 seconds of 5-on-3 power play time forthcoming due to too many players penalty against Grand Valley. And I believe the Saints have taken their lone timeout. Somebody's taken the timeout. I believe it was the Saints. Regardless, this is an important power play coming up. Despite the fact that it's only in the first period, you really feel like Maryville has to capitalize on this golden opportunity. They're down by 2. There's 41-33 left in this contest in regulation. But the momentum swing could be huge either way. If Grand Valley State manages to kill off a 5-on-3 going into the locker room, just imagine how they're going to feel in that dressing room versus Maryville. But if you get a goal before the end of the period, maybe 2, and all of a sudden it's a completely different hockey game. But it's all up to the players. The coaches can give their instructions as they have done. Coach Lang was drawing something up. So these are the moments that you practice all week long. Now it's just about execution for either side. Grand Valley wins the opening battle of this 5-on-3, winning the face-off and clearing it all the way down. Technically, that could have actually been a shot on goal, and they have put it up on the board. There it is. Here comes Gerwitz from the far wing, avoiding all the sticks, dragging it on around, and then a final poke check disrupts it. Rutherford scoops it down low. Poisson drags it back. Gerwitz is back at the point, but there was a Braschwitz stick in between, so the puck flutters out. 17 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Gershwitz comes up the near side. O'Leary vacates the space, but allows the defender to come on over and help. Gerwitz using her strength to carry it on around. She's just so difficult to get off the puck. O'Brien gives it up. Callhammer, top of the circle. Here's Toole. Rink-wide pass to the far circle. Morris puts it into the mixer. Callhammer never got the shot away as it was blocked. High off the window, and that will clear. 5-on-4 power play. Saints are 0 for 2 now. That initial penalty goes by the wayside. Callhammer trying to pass around the pressure. That one went off the backhand of Morris. So got 19 seconds left, so this is looking like a huge momentum swing for the team that already had the bulk of it. As Grand Valley looks like they're going to kill off this penalty. There will still be a little bit of time in the second period, but Maryville just looks all sort of out of sorts. That one's underneath the blocker. Didn't really trouble Sammy Schultz. And it is a 2-0 lead in favor of the Lakers heading into the first intermission. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have your intermission report, talk about those 2 goals and what Maryville needs to do to try to get back into this one. You're watching Maryville Hockey on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
A lot of the times, students that are thinking about entering our program, they have a lot of questions. They've done their research. A lot of the questions that the students have are based upon outcomes. Where am I going to be 4 years from now if I decide to be in the Rawlings Sport Business Management program? Here, I'll show you. Here's where our alumni work now. We have students working in the athletic department at universities. We have students working for sports teams. We have students working for sports agencies, whether it be an Abstract Marketing, a Learfield Sports, an IMG. Those are a lot of the organizations that are hiring our students. And we do have a lot of our alumni who do work for sports teams, whether it be the Houston Rockets, the Kansas City Royals, the St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Blues. Many of our students have worked for those agencies and continue to work for those types of organizations now.
the MSHN Intermission Report, brought to you by the following. Hogan Trucking, comprehensive transportation, straightforward solutions.
And welcome into the Hogan Trucking Intermission Report. After 20 minutes of play, it is a 2-0 score in favor of the visitors as the Lakers lead your Saints. That first period was somewhat of a mirror image of the game that we got last night, in which Maryville was actually outshot but ended up with the 2 goals. Similar story here this afternoon, except in reverse, obviously, from the Maryville perspective, as the Saints ended up outshooting the Lakers 8-7, as they had a decent push towards the end of that first period, especially with that 5-on-3 power play, although despite the zone time, they didn't get too much rolling on the offensive end during that period of play. But ultimately, it was the Lakers that managed to get on the board twice, thanks to fantastic play by Sprott, as she has both of the power play goals. The first goal came at 3:20 of the first period, as Sprott was able to take just a nice shot, ended up beating the goaltender. That might be one that Legault might like to have back, but you don't necessarily blame her, as she made the initial save, and then she had lost her goal stick. They kept banging at the rebound. She just couldn't keep that right pad down, as it wasn't secured against the post. Very difficult on a slippery surface like ice to keep your leg down there, as we'll get a look at this one here. You see the shot coming in from the circle, and that was actually Sprott taking the long shot. And the second goal, though, from Sprott came at 15:25, and again on the power play. So it was just a Sprott show, very similar to how Rutherford had ended up with 2 goals, despite Maryville not necessarily having a ton of offensive firepower within that first period. And it was the same story here for Grand Valley in the first period this afternoon. So you're looking forward to the second period. It's all about how you come out in those first couple minutes for Maryville. You can't necessarily win or lose the game unless you allow another goal. But for Maryville, they do still have about 30 seconds of power play time. You need to win that initial draw, get into the offensive zone pretty quickly, get something set up. Even if you don't score, at least establish yourself offensively. Try to get things rolling a little bit, similar to how we saw Maryville in yesterday's contest just unleash a lot of shots on goal. Wear down this defense. Eventually that first period jolt of energy that the Lakers have may subside just a little bit, but it's all about how you attack them. Maryville needs to come out strong. They need to establish a little bit of dominance, and they need to not necessarily take their opponent for granted. And I'm not saying that that's what they did in that first period, but when you're going against a team that's winless, it would be somewhat understandable if that were to be the case. If Maryville just thought, well, we won pretty easily yesterday, might be the same case today. Grand Valley has other plans. So right now, Maryville needs just 2 to tie and then 3 to take a lead, and that's assuming that they don't allow another one for the rest of this contest. But there's still a lot of time left, 40 minutes in regulation, and we'll see how things shake out. That'll wrap up your Hogan Trucking Intermission Report. Until the second period drops, we'll take one more quick break, and we'll be back with the puck drop here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
the day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. Lost together, we discovered ourselves again. And we realized that the things that matter deserve time.
That looks good.
From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates. Because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there. And they never tasted this good.
Coke with coffee. We blended Coke with rich coffee for one very good reason. Your afternoon pick-me-up routine needed it. Simple as that. Coke with coffee.
For the past 70 years, Lou Fuse has called St. Louis home, growing our dealership and community family, delivering the best experience.
Loufusc, where we'll treat you right, you'll see. RESPECT, get the respect that you'll need.
With 17 brands, 12 dealerships, thousands of new, certified pre-owned, used and motorsport vehicles, and millions of happy customers, Lou Fuse is here for you. Year after year, Lou Fuse has been proud to support youth athletics, honored to give back to community charities, and happy to deliver the respect and customer service you deserve.
And welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center. Players are gathered at center ice. The referee wants to know what's going on. Grand Valley needed to get their fourth player out on the ice. 27 seconds left, and Maryville did not listen to my intermission advice, which was to say they needed to win the face-off and get into the zone. They lost the face-off, and now they have to go the length of the ice to get something going. Cross-ice pass hits the skates of O'Leary, and the disjointed play of the first period carries over into the second, as that will pretty much wrap up the third Maryville power play for the Saints. They go 0 for 3 for 2 games in a row. Rutherford comes in on the wing, shot from an angle. That goes off the glove, ended up in behind the net. Gerwitz swishes it on around. Dawson hammers it off the boards. Fell right to St. Louis, but she wasn't really in a position to do too much with it. Scram just scoops it down the ice. McGowan gets there before Lefebvre. McGowan goes in between the wickets of Stelzer. Poisson will put it in and then head off on a change, as she was the last remaining player to get off the ice. McGowan has it just under her stick. And again, that's just a kind of an example of the way that this afternoon has gone for Maryville, and taking nothing away from Grand Valley. They've been on point, as there's a good save made by Legault. It's in behind her. They score. Legault thought she had it pinned up against the pads. None of her teammates, either they didn't know it was in behind her or didn't tell her, because she continued to sit in that butterfly position thinking she was going to get a whistle, but it had snuck through the pads. And Grand Valley was able to put in the rebound. There's been a penalty handed out, though, as Sydney Hancock will go into the box. So I didn't really see who got credit for that Grand Valley goal. Sprott was in position, so she could very well have a hat trick. We'll try to get an update on that. It's the referee giving a little bit of an answer as to why one of the Grand Valley players is in the box, and apparently there was a little bit of a shove after everything. So Maryville already down by 3. Couldn't hear what the PA announcer said, so unfortunately don't have official confirmation on who got that goal. Nevertheless, Grand Valley up 3-0. Kerwitz with a wrister, rebound chance, and again, and all of them are turned aside by Schultz. Kerwitz straightaway point, far side to Poisson. She spins around into the circle, down low to St. Louis. She is tied up, as is the puck. O'Leary tried to give it off to Rutherford. Rutherford gloves it down, leaves it along the wall for O'Leary. Puts that across the crease. From the half wall, St. Louis sets up. Cross ice, finds Rutherford. She comes into the circle, puts one towards goal. Almost caught the goaltender. She was able to get those pads sorted out. No rebound there for Poisson. .42 seconds left on the Hancock penalty. Saints have got 3 shots on goal here in this period. So far, have not hit the back of the net. Morris goes cross ice. Dawson filters it down to Toole. From her knees, she gets it back to Dawson. Slap shot from Dawson was deflected up and out of play. That puts 26 seconds left on the power play clock. Off the draw, another face-off win for Grand Valley. Despite the loss, that was one of the things that they did pretty well yesterday. They're continuing that face-off dominance here today, and it has really kind of hampered Maryville's opportunities. Toole from just outside the circle goes into the corner for O'Brien. 5 seconds left on the power play. Here's Dawson, fakes everything, and now that's going to spring a 3-on-1. Dawson gets back. Now Maryville's got the numbers, 3-on-2. Morris comes in, 4-on-2. Morris from the near circle, and the steam was taken out of that shot. Now the goaltender's lost her stick. Put back out in front, and it splits both options. Brennan and O'Brien were there. Neither one could get the stick to it. Toole sends it to Rutherford. She curls back. Near side, Poisson. Back to Rutherford, crossing the Maryville logo from the near circle. Takes a shot and missed the net. She was trying to go block her high. Got it up there, but a little too much. Misplayed by Toole. She's able to recover. Saints are 0 for 4 with the power play, and that has really cost them here this afternoon. Had to get one of those in at least. Kelsel up the wall to Callhammer. She's taken down awkwardly. Grand Valley trying to get some pressure alleviated here. Callhammer to Gerwitz. Poisson from the half wall. Far side to Kelsel. That one kind of went off the toe of her stick. Kelsel jabs it off the wall. Centering pass from Brennan. That one was knocked down. Loose on the circle. Scram carries. O'Leary sends it back towards the end boards. O'Brien from behind the net. In front. Oh, another great save by Schultz as she denies O'Leary on the doorstep. O'Leary with a wraparound attempt. In front. O'Brien is denied on top of the crease as well. Saints cannot buy one. Dawson from the blue line. Far side, Kelsel. In front. Rebound chance not there for O'Leary after another save made by Schultz. Saints are starting to pepper the net, but they just cannot beat this goaltender. It's one of those situations that's kind of the chicken and the egg. Does getting all those shots benefit you? Or do you need one to just kind of sneak in? And then that might take some of the luster off the goaltender. Right now, the Saints don't care, I should say, how it goes in. They just need at least one to hit the back of the net, give themselves at least a little bit of momentum. Because right now, they are coming up empty-handed. Argyropoulos from the near corner, gives it off to Stelzer. Tries to shovel it towards goal, but she was off balance. Lefebvre carries over the blue line. Sends it into the zone. Sasek in a foot race. Hancock actually got there before everybody. Penalty coming up. Grand Valley's going back to the power play. I don't know what that signal was. The penalty is going to go against Toole. The hand motion looked like he said she just shoved her out of the way. And it's actually going to be matching penalties. So it was a hook against Hancock and then a cross-check against Toole. So that'll open up a little bit of ice here as we'll skate 4-on-4. Thought it was going to be a Grand Valley power play, but the Lakers ended up evening things up in terms of the manpower. Which is probably a good thing from the Saints' perspective, as the Lakers are 2 for 2 on the power play, so you don't want to give them any more opportunities. Icing is the call here. Grand Valley forgot that they weren't killing the penalty. As Schultz even acknowledges over to the bench, just saying, oh, I forgot we had somebody in the box. 1:37 left in 4-on-4. 12:44 to go in the period. Brennan, Poisson, Gerwitz, and Kelsel. Gerwitz has a roll on her, just can't settle it down. Long shot, knocked down. Poisson sends it wide. Brennan has the stick lifted. Plowman outdueled her numerical counterpart. That was deflected by Kelsel, so no icing. Gerwitz saw the pressure coming from Rubsum. Skates up the near side, goes rink wide. Now Brennan comes in with Poisson. Brennan from the circle to Poisson in the middle. She shoots off the glove. Rebound, never got on goal. It's off the post. Score! The initial chance was fanned on, and then the Saints come in on the backside, and Sophie Brennan puts them on the board. 3-1 is your score. It seemed like the Saints were not going to capitalize, and just further exemplify why it might not be their afternoon. As this one, the Galt manages to smother. She made doubly sure of that one. Getting deep down into that crouch to cover that puck. Off the draw, Saints shuffle it out. Sent back in. Tracked down by Dawson. Tried to ricochet one off the boards. Didn't have the angle. McGowan comes in. Dawson peels the puck away. Soft pass up the near side boards. Here comes O'Leary. Not too much in the way of support. She's going to drag it on around. All the way around. And then tried to give it off. McGowan was not on the same page. Scram comes in. close to an offside. Toe save made as it was cutting across the green. Plowman tries to shove it back in. From the red line, Ortiz sends it high off the boards. Back to 5-on-5. The penalties have elapsed. O'Leary comes in. Rutherford had to drag the toe. O'Leary kicks at it. Poisson sidesteps her opponent. Comes up with the puck. Rutherford out-dueled on the joust. Nab has to retreat. Almost pinned that up against the boards, but Sprott is a little too strong. And now we get an offside call with 10:36 to go in the second. Schultz. Far side. Tapped in by Broschwitz, but not very long. San Luis with a hot pass. Callhammer avoids the poke check. Lost the puck in the process, though. Sprott comes out. Well, through the wickets of Toole. Sprott from the wing. Toole gets the stick down. Puck still got all the way across the rink. Nobody has still touched it. Callhammer looks a little bit shaken up here along the near side boards. Trying to get in front of that one. Sprott almost with a deflection as Callhammer's trying to get off. Sprott is in the back of the net. And now there's some whacking going on inside the crease. Gault is just trying to stay out of the way. He's got that puck pinned up against the left pad. But Sprott ended up in behind her once again. And I fully understand why, because she's already had one sneak in behind. But this one is getting a little testy. So it looks like it's Sasic and Toole into the box, and we'll go back to 4-on-4, which thus far has favored Maryville, as they've already got their lone goal at 4-on-4. We'll see if they can make it 2 for 2. Slapper towards goal. Some of the Lakers fans thought that they had gotten their fourth on the board. Legault is without her paddle. It's over to her left-hand side, so she can't get it. Now Schultz sends one towards goal, blocked by Gerwitz. She goes back to guard the crease. Another shot in, right pad save. And this is 4-on-4. Had to double check because initially it was looking like a power play. Rutherford has stood up at the line. In comes Kelsel. She scoops one towards goal and right into that logo. Kelsel takes a spill over in the corner. These bodies have been falling left and right here this afternoon. There have been a few games played already, but you would think so early in the day that the ice conditions would be relatively good, but it's been kind of odd weather outside. It's humid and raining. Temperatures somewhat comfortable, so wouldn't think that that would disrupt the ice conditions, but it's always hard to tell. St. Louis knocked that down, but she was on the wrong side of the blue line, had not vacated the zone yet. Well, the puck is loose in the far corner. Morris had to slam on the brakes. Pass was in behind St. Louis. Graham comes back the other way from the near wing, blocked by Gerwitz's right shin pad. Dawson flicks it up the ice, but not out. Good pressure being put on here by the Lakers as Gerwitz has it in the corner. Too tall for St. Louis, gloved down by Ortiz. Double deflection, put it towards the top of the crease, but no further. Morris tries to go up the seam, sends one over the goal. That one went out of play. And it was off the top of the glove of the goaltender, so the faceoff will be in the zone. 26 seconds left on 4-on-4. Saints have some fresh legs. It's going to be Poisson, Rutherford, McGowan, and Dawson. So Coach Lang not wanting to roll the dice with 3 forwards just yet. There's still just a little bit under halfway left to go in this game. Poisson from the far circle. On the backhand, put it just wide. Had some steam behind it. Dawson just barely doesn't hold that in the zone. Just trickled away from her. I think if that hits the forehand instead of the backhand, she's able to keep that in. Dawson slaps it towards goal. Sticked over into the far side corner. Good rebound control. Callhammer is back on her next shift, so good to see that she's not too shaken up. Rutherford will get off. Back to 5-on-5. Rauschwitz from the near side wall. Hancock flips it in off the far boards. McGowan chases it down. Here comes O'Leary on the attack with Brennan. O'Brien, the trail. Back the other way. Sasic, too far for Sprott. O'Brien sends it too far north for O'Leary. Back through center. Possession traded back and forth with about 7 minutes to go. O'Brien has it chopped away by Rubson, but regains. Off the chest of the goaltender. The puck is loose. They score! O'Leary picks up the loose change and deposits it in the bank. It's 3-2. So Brennan scored at 7:52. O'Leary at 13:06. And we've got a hockey game. It's 3-2 now, still in favor of the Lakers, but here come the Saints. Lefebvre. On around. Gerwitz got there just a step early. Gerwitz scrapes it off the wall. Ortiz was able to hold it in. Second attempt, Argyropoulos gets it out. Stelzer with the body. And that's going to lead to a penalty. Saints touch the puck. And roughing will be the call. So just when the Saints had a little bit of momentum, the official decides to put a stopper on that one. They will now have to refocus and dig in on this penalty kill. They are 0 for 2 in terms of killing off power plays for Grand Valley this afternoon. 6:18 left to go in the period. Saints trail by a goal. A bit of confusion, I believe, as to who's to be out on the ice. I guess referee said that they weren't allowed to get that late change. Doesn't matter. Grand Valley wins the faceoff. Now they do get the change. Lefebvre comes up, sets up on the back door. They almost connected. Lunging out to get to it is the Saints as Cooper gets it in. O'Brien will just shuffle that one into the corner. That's almost a play, and understandably, I know now why she did that, as O'Brien needed to get off on a change. If she was fresh, you'd really like to see her go all the way back to the point, let the defenders carry that into the zone, then send it the length of the ice. Take off as much time as you can while you have possession instead of giving it away just in the corner. But she needed to get off on a change, so you don't want to put yourself in a position to where a turnover will really hurt you. Intercepted by Kelsel, and she will guide it on down. 60 seconds left in the power play. Broshwitz takes it from her own goaltender. Brennan on the forecheck. O'Leary comes up. Didn't get the puck. Got the stick of her opponent. Lefebvre comes up from the high slot to the far circle. Shot was deflected. Stays in the rink, though. Sprott, who's already got 2 power play goals, And the referee blew the whistle. And the net was dislodged. .457, excuse me. Left to go here in the period. Straightaway point to Ortiz. That doesn't get through. The net was empty. Legault was able to get back over. Cross ice. Deflected in front. It's a scramble play. And the Saints come up with it. Not out though. Ortiz hammers it. Bounces in behind the goal. Kerwitz sends it off the window and out. McCallion gives it away at center. Rutherford plays it into the skates of both Official and Rubsum. Back into the zone. Reaching for it was Scram. Couldn't hold it. Rubsum from the angle. Ooh, that one was almost catching Legault cheating a little bit. Got to stick on that post. A bouncer just underneath O'Brien. Morris is in as well, trying to anticipate the play, and she does so. Back across the green, but nobody on the back door. McGowan slaps one towards goal. Schultz doesn't find the handle, so the rebound has to be punched in behind the net. Dawson gets it right at the blue line, but nobody in white is on the near wall. Second attempt gets it out for Grand Valley. Sasek will chase it down in the corner on the attack. Saints trying to get all 5 players out there. Both teams running piecemeal line changes and getting away with it. The fave goes to ice along the hash marks. Cooper tried a little soup pass. Couldn't get enough on it. That one's stretched out by Dawson. Nobody was aware. And Morris has to come back out. She was desperately trying to get off on a change, but none to be had here as it's an icing against the Saints. 3:09 left to go in the second period. A lot of tired bodies out there for both teams. But definitely for the Saints, as they have kind of lost a little bit of the momentum that they gained after scoring those 2 goals. So you almost get the feeling that they would be more than content to just see this period out and try to tie things up in the third. Still time left for either team to change this scoreline in the second period, though. Now here comes St. Louis. Dawson cuts in towards the net. St. Louis avoids the stick. She puts it in front. Morris got a piece of it, but so did the goaltender. It's loose in behind. Callhammer. Dawson was calling for it. Cycles back. Toole was a little bit off balance. Takes a spill, trying to get back into position. Here comes Broshwitz. Lays it in. Sprott coming in to put on pressure. Dawson doesn't know where the puck is at. Awkward pass near side to Poisson. Here's Sprott looking for number 3. Instead puts it in front. Save is made off the right pad. Saints once again just all out of sorts. They cannot clear. Sprott has to just pitchfork that one over into the corner. Now it's a skate race. Callhammer didn't have the angle. Ortiz did. Saints send it up the wall. O'Leary sends it down. 90 seconds left in the period. From the high slot, shot in. Schultz was able to lunge out and cover up the rebound as O'Leary was coming in. She wanted her second of the game. Saints have 16 shots in this period. That's how many they had in the second period yesterday. They didn't manage to score yesterday. They've got 2 in the second period here today, so the shots have been there, but perhaps it's those second chance opportunities that have not. Up the middle, off the skates of O'Leary, as that pass was just too straight. Very difficult to connect on that angle. It did avoid the icing call, so the Saints are trying to get something going here in the final minute. Toole needs to avoid a tripping call. LaFave is going to cut in. She goes back to the forehand. Score! Mary Rose LaFave was able to outrace everybody. From the hash marks, she regained the puck, went back to the forehand, and beat the goaltender on the blocker side. And that puts the momentum back with Grand Valley. Just 47 seconds left in the period. So LaFave at 19-13 makes it 4-2 Grand Valley. From center ice, Gerwitz comes in, under 30 to go. Gerwitz gallops on around. On the wraparound attempt, puts it in there, and goaltender covers. Right now, Grand Valley, to borrow a soccer term, just parking the bus. Basically, all 5 players were on the edge of the crease. Not a clean win for Maryville, but they do get control off the face-off as that one rolls just past Sidney Poisson. Callhammer's out muscled. Broshwitz got it. Gerwitz with the shot, that's blocked. And then O'Leary spikes it just wide. And the Saints run out of time. If there was maybe 30 seconds more, the Saints might have got it back to 1, but unfortunately, that's not how time works. So, an entertaining second period, to say the least. Grand Valley added 2 more goals to their total, but Maryville got 2 on the board as well, so it's still a 2-goal difference, and 4-2 is your score. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk things over in the intermission report. This is Maryville Saints hockey.
The day the world stopped was the day we found where to go. Lost together, we discovered ourselves again. And we realized that the things that matter deserve time. From now on, we're not going to leave anything on our plates. Because we've learned to savor the moments that were always there. And they never tasted this good.
Coke with coffee. We blended Coke with rich coffee for one very good reason. Your afternoon pick-me-up routine needed it. Simple as that. Coke with coffee.
What you want, Lou Fuse has got it.
For the past 70 years, Lou Fuse has called St. Louis home, growing our dealership and community family, delivering the best experience.
Loufusc, where we'll treat you right, you'll see. RESPECT, get the respect that you need.
With 17 brands, 12 dealerships, thousands of new, certified pre-owned, used and motorsport vehicles, and millions of happy customers, Lou Fuse is here for you. Year after year, Lou Fuse has been proud to support youth athletics, honored to give back to community charities, and happy to deliver the respect and customer service you deserve.
LOUFUSC, treat you right for 70. LOUFUSC, it's our anniversary.
Come celebrate our 70th anniversary with us, with anniversary savings and specials all year long. And everyone gets the Fuse Family Promise, including warranties on new and Fuse certified vehicles, a money-back guarantee, and exchange policy.
LOUFUSC, where we treat you right, you'll see.
There's power in numbers. Number ones will cook you with that first step.
Your L, sir. Compliments of the chef.
Number 10s, more gold than Midas.
Midas who?
24s will live in your head. 33s put in so many hours, they'll be the first to defeat Father Time.
What you got, 33?
Time's up, old man.
Run it back. I said run it back.
50s, ice in their veins. And 87s are so good, they just set up shop in the end zone.
Next!
There's power in numbers. Take yours. Powerade. More power for 0 to 99, more power for me.
This is the MSHN Intermission Report, brought to you by the following. Arco Construction, the design and build people.
And welcome into the Arco Construction Intermission Report. After 40 minutes of play, it's still a 2-goal lead, but the scoreline changed as the Lakers now lead 4-2 over your Maryville Saints. So Maryville got things rolling a little bit in that second period, but it was that first goal of the period that once again went to Grand Valley State that kind of set the tone for the way that the rest of this game was going to elapse, because it was a situation to where Maryville, they still had about 30 seconds left on the power play, 27 if you want to be exact, and they really needed to get something established, whether it was zone time, perhaps even getting a goal, and instead you lose the opening face-off, and just that inability to string together crisp passes and put it right on the tape has sort of been kind of the telltale sign of how this game has gone for Maryville within today's game. But they did manage to get a couple goals, but it was that first goal at just about a minute in for Grand Valley that really kind of set things in motion for them to keep control of this game in the second period. But it was a Sophie Brennan goal at 7:52 that happened at 4-on-4 play, so the Saints were able to utilize some of that open space gained with both teams having a player in the box, as we see a mad scramble in front. And initially it didn't look like that puck was going to go in because Brennan was in on the play just before that replay was triggered. Couldn't get anything rolling. Gets the backhander. It hits off the post. Looked like it was going to go straight across the goal line and out. Instead, it managed to just sneak inside that far post. Maryville gets on the board. It's 3-1 at that point. Then it was Colleen O'Leary. She would score at 13:06 as the Saints started really trying to find themselves offensively. O'Leary coming in on her own rebound and was able to cash in to what was essentially an empty net. And that was the first time that they've really looked like they've troubled Schultz in goal on a steady, sustained amount of time. And it looked like the Saints were going to be able to build off of that, but for whatever reason, some of it was penalty killing, some of it was just kind of being hemmed in their own zone overall. They started losing their legs a little bit towards the end of that second period, and it was Grand Valley State that would cash in and make Maryville pay as they got a goal from Lefebvre at 19:13. So only 47 seconds left in the period. Maryville looked kind of like they were trying to get into the intermission with the score 3-2, unsuccessful in doing that. So now all of a sudden they still need those 2 goals to try to tie things up here in the third period of regulation. We'll see whether or not they can do it. They need an offensive push. They've got the firepower. Do they have the legs? That'll wrap it up for your Arco Construction Intermission Report. We'll be back with the puck drop in just a couple minutes right here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
What you want, Lou Fuse has got it.
For the past 70 years, Lou Fuse has called St. Louis home, growing our dealership and community family, delivering the best experience.
LOUFUSZ, we'll treat you right, you'll see. RESPECT, get the respect that you need.
With 17 brands, 12 dealerships, thousands of new, certified pre-owned, used and motorsport vehicles, and millions of happy customers, Lou Fuse is here for you. Year after year, Lou Fuse has been proud to support youth athletics, honored to give back to community charities, and happy to deliver the respect and customer service you deserve.
LOUFUSZ, treat you right for 70. LOUFUSZ, it's our anniversary.
Come celebrate our 70th anniversary with us, with anniversary savings and specials all year long. And everyone gets the Fuse Family Promise, including warranties on new and Fuse certified vehicles, a money-back guarantee, and exchange policy.
LOUFUSZ, where we treat you right, you'll see.
There's 2 types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaefer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaefer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaefer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Red Brick Roofing, wherever you live, from Bridgeton to Baldwin, Brentwood to Kirkwood, St. Anne to St. Charles, wherever you live. Hazelwood to Maplewood, the name you know. Red Brick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Red Brick Roofing.
St. Louis, 314-645-2000.
This is the letter I've been telling you about.
This letter is for you. From what I hear, you're supposed to be the next Tom Brady. What I'm about to say is important. Never let them call you the next Tom Brady. When they compare you to the GOATs, tune it out. When they say you're a 6th round draft pick, store it away. Compare yourself to nobody but the kid in the mirror. The one who goes all in, all out, and has the crazy confidence to know that who you are today is just a piece of who you're going to become. This letter's for that you, the one no one will see coming. Sincerely, Tom.
Moneta may be one of the nation's largest independent wealth managers, but what we pride ourselves on most is serving each client like they're part of the family. That's why we go to extraordinary lengths to help our clients reach their unique financial goals. Whether launching a business, providing retirement planning for employees, or building a multi-generational legacy, at Moneta, whatever you cherish, we help protect it today, tomorrow, and into the future.
For the past 70 years, Lou Fuse has called St. Louis home, growing our dealership and community family, delivering the best experience.
L-O-U-F-U-S-Z, where we'll treat you right, you'll see. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, get the respect that you'll need.
With 17 brands, 12 dealerships, thousands of new, certified pre-owned, used and motorsport vehicles, and millions of happy customers, Lou Fuse is here for you. Year after year, Lou Fuse has been proud to support youth athletics, honored to give back to community charities, and happy to deliver the respect and customer service you deserve.
L-O-U-F-U-S-Z, treat you right for 70. L-O-U-F-U-S-Z, it's our anniversary.
Come celebrate our 70th anniversary with us, with anniversary savings and specials all year long. And everyone gets the Fuse Family Promise, including warranties on new and Fuse certified vehicles, a money-back guarantee, and exchange policy.
L-O-U-F-U-S-Z, where we treat you right, you'll see.
There's two types of drivers out there. Drivers who know how to protect their investment, and drivers who don't. Car owners who know how to get more miles per gallon, and owners who don't. We're talking people who know their Schaefer, and people who don't. Which one are you? From cars to trucks to diesel workhorses, whatever you drive, there's a Schaefer synthetic oil for you. Do you know your Schaefer? Ask for it at an automotive retailer near you.
Frederick Roofing, wherever you live, from Bridgeton to Baldwin, Brentwood to Kirkwood, St. Anne to St. Charles, wherever you live. Hazelwood to Maplewood, the name you know. Frederick Roofing, wherever you go. For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof. Frederick Roofing.
St. Louis, 314-645-2000.
This is the letter I've been telling you about.
This letter is for you. From what I hear, you're supposed to be the next Tom Brady. What I'm about to say is important. Never let them call you the next Tom Brady. When they compare you to the GOATs, tune it out. When they say you're a sixth-round draft pick, store it away. Compare yourself to nobody but the kid in the mirror. The one who goes all in, all out, and has the crazy confidence to know that who you are today is just a piece of who you're going to become. This letter's for that you, the one no one will see coming. Sincerely, Tom.
About your dreams, man.
Moneta may be one of the nation's largest independent wealth managers, but what we pride ourselves on most is serving each client like they're part of the family. That's why we go to extraordinary lengths to help our clients reach their unique financial goals. Whether launching a business, providing retirement planning for employees, or building a multi-generational legacy. At Moneta, whatever you cherish, we help protect it today, tomorrow, and into the future.
Welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center. Just about set for third period action between the Lakers and the Saints. Lakers have a 2-goal lead. 4-2 is your score. It was 2-0 after one period of play. 4-2 after 2 periods. And we are underway in the final period of regulation. Saints trying to get something going on the offensive side and prevent it from being the final period in the game in total, unless they get a big explosion of goals here in the third. But they need that next one. Not to say that they are not capable of coming back from 3, but you don't want to have to do that. Puck trickles across the line, swatted in by Callhammer. Knocked down with a high stick, so that'll draw a whistle. Face-off will be inside the zone. They're going to put it on the far dot. 35 seconds elapse here in the period. Referee waves off a change from Grand Valley. Morris comes into the face-off dot. Gerwitz gets the puck, shot on, stick save into the far corner. Schultz has been nearly unbeatable here today. 24 saves on 26 shots. Back and forth they go. Grand Valley gives it away. St. Louis and Morris. It seems like that would have been better to let St. Louis get to it. The left-handed shot would have had more of a angle to get something good on net, but that was for them to decide. Morris ended up keeping it. Sasek loops one in. Dawson is back. Shots were 25-16 after 2 periods of play. So for the second day in a row, Maryville gets shots in the teens in the middle frame, but doesn't have enough offense to show for it. Yesterday they had no goals. 2 goals is pretty good, but when you allow 2, then doesn't end up benefiting you. Here's O'Leary with the shot. That goes off the goaltender. Defender lost a stick in the process. McGowan couldn't get there. Broshwitz just brushes it up the ice. Brennan tries to spike it in. O'Leary has her stick lifted, goes at it with the skate, kicks it to the goal line. Gerwitz steps up, pops one into the corner. O'Leary going off on a change. Rutherford will get there on the half wall. Poisson comes over to help. Poisson from the circle and lost it. Gerwitz couldn't hold it in off the heel of her stick. She's able to kick it back. Rutherford gets it from Callhammer. Rutherford uses the defender as a screen, got the shot away, save was made. Rebound loose in the corner. That was briefly empty, but there was just no way for Maryville to get to that puck as this one ricochets up and into the netting. Clock stops with 17:01 to go. Rutherford in on the dot. She'll go against Sprott. Size differential favors Grand Valley, and they win the faceoff. Not necessarily because of that, but just as a descriptor. Kelso gets a hip right in her backside. Callhammer tried to jab that one off the wall. Shuffled up by Gerwitz as she tries to sidestep Broschwitz. There's too many Grand Valley players. Saints regroup in their own zone. McGowan comes up. Here's Toole. She'll take a shot. Right pad save. So Toole now playing forward, which is her more normal position, but she's been pushed into a defensive role the last few games. Coach Lang trying to shuffle things up, get something going. Here's Dawson. Her shot turned aside. Another save for Schultz. Toole guides it over here to the near boards. Tried to spin it back into the corner. Intercepted. Ortiz sees St. Louis coming. Swats it over to the near boards. McGowan picks it up for Maryville. Shot deflected up. Stays in the rink. Grand Valley comes up the middle. Lefebvre taps it off the boards. Maryville picks up the loose puck in their own zone, just under the stick of O'Leary. O'Leary and O'Brien on either side of Broschwitz, but she was able to get the puck away. 5 minutes played as this one's popped over the goal. Broschwitz scoops it back from the corner. O'Leary centered it. Brennan was there, but she was defended well. Gerwitz flops one into the zone. Broschwitz again there to collect for Grand Valley. Some of the Maryville fans trying to start a chant here to get their players going. Goalie lunges out, comes up empty-handed. Gerwitz sends one towards goal, turned away. Callhammer puts it wide. Rutherford stepped up, couldn't get a piece of it. Saints bring it into the zone. Gerwitz is hauled down. Penalty coming up. Saints put it into the mixer. Callhammer's shot blocked. Possession was gained long enough, so the Saints will have their 5th power play. Ortiz is in the box on the tripping call, and Maryville desperately needing a goal. Trying to utilize the power play to get something rolling. Saints struggling to get the puck settled down. Now they do. Poisson handed it off. It's filtered through. Gerwitz with a whip shot. Rutherford is there for the rebound, and it's put wide. Goaltender may have got a piece. Callhammer plays it across, and Rutherford swung and missed. Now it's a 2-on-1 the other way. Grand Valley comes in. Gerwitz takes the puck carrier. Cross-ice pass. The goal to save. That could be a game changer, and instead they get it back in front. McCallion puts it into an empty net. Maryville was too slow in getting back in support. And eventually Grand Valley cashes in, and despite the fact they're shorthanded, they put one in the back of the net. So McCallion at 6:23 scores shorthanded. And it seemed like the Saints were on the precipice. They just couldn't push it over the edge in terms of getting that power play goal. They still have a little bit over a minute. They need to get control of this puck and control of themselves as well. They almost gave up another shorthanded one. Morris slowly brings it in. She's got options in the middle, holds on to it. Dawson straightaway point, no shooting lane available. Tries to get the pass off. Sprott uses the reach. Dawson tried to fling it back over into the circle. Gave it over to Broshwitz. She sends it to the near corner, and the Lakers will clear. 40 seconds left in the power play. .36 left to go in the period. Here comes Rutherford. Flings one in after she crossed the red line. Goaltender had that one covered. That'll lead to an offensive zone faceoff. Good centering pass. And O'Leary was there, just couldn't connect on the shot attempt. Saints are now 0 for 5 with the man advantage. Rutherford has her pocket picked as she tried to enter the zone. Second attempt, puck kind of trickled away from her. Poisson gets it around, but she's surrounded by a triangle of defenders. Poisson caught a stick across the fingers. She heads off to the bench. Roller over on the far side. Cooper couldn't play it because Poisson was not officially off yet. Gerwitz gets it over the line, but not for long. Dawson is back. Stretch pass out of the reach. It's going to lead to an icing. Clock stops with 11:26 to go here in the third. Now LaFave tried to give it over to Gerbic. Saints take it on the far wall. Pops back out to center. Sasic controls. Gerbic swats it in. High off the window. Broshwitz kicks at it. Sasic does as well. Spiked away by Gerwitz. Broshwitz to Ortiz. And Rutherford is there. Rutherford from the line. Pushed up against the end wall. Drops it off. Gerwitz steps into a high wrister, deflected down in front and covered by Schultz. That would have been an interesting decision had that gone in because that was close to a high stick. They did not blow it down in live play, but there definitely would have been a conversation. But none to be had now because Schultz made the cover. Rutherford wins the draw, and O'Leary has the puck. O'Brien took a spill down in front. It's off the side of the goal on the far side. McGowan tried to pinch in. They just slip it around her along the wall. Almost halfway through the period. The lone goal coming for Abigail McCallion, who has the puck. Hancock got it up the line, but Dawson's skate got in the way. LaFave couldn't get it over the red line. Brennan couldn't get the stick down quickly enough. Just deflected up into the bench. We'll have a neutral zone face-off with 9:55 to go. Both teams trying to pitchfork it around the wall. Now there's a scrum along the near side boards. 3-goal lead. That is the largest lead of the game, or ties the largest lead of the game. Is another save made on a relatively easy chance for Sam Schultz. This is one of the longer stretches that the lead has been 3, as Maryville managed to find an answer after the 3-0 lead to get on the board. About 6 minutes after that happened, it's another scrum close to the side of the net, leads to a covered puck. Saints' next game is going to be on the road. And the next couple games will actually be on the road, as they'll be part of a tournament of sorts. They'll have a game against Midland on November 3rd, and then against UMass on November 4th. Both of those are going to happen in Fremont, Nebraska. Our next broadcast will come to you on November 11th, when the Saints take on the McHenry Bearcats. They win the face-off after another covered puck by Schultz. Kerwitz tried to slide it up the wall. That was spotted and intercepted. LaFave able to outrace the Maryville captain. That's something that not a lot of players can do. LaFave gets to it in the corner. Kerwitz recovers. Sasek is on the puck, though. 8:35 to go. It's been a rather inauspicious start to Sage Legault's collegiate career. But the way that this game has gone, I mean, there might be a goal or two that she would like to have back, and I fully understand from the goaltender's perspective. You don't want any to get past you. But you really don't feel that this game is on her. It's been an odd occurrence here and there for Maryville. We'll see if we can get some comments for our weekend recap from Coach Lang, see what his viewpoint was in terms of this game, because it just doesn't feel like there was a lack of effort from Maryville this afternoon. They just never got on their toes for long enough. Didn't have a whole lot of puck luck either, but you have to give credit, though, to Grand Valley, because unless something happens, as O'Leary's going to go into the box, as she stood up, I believe that was Hancock at the blue line. It didn't look like Maryville touched that puck either, but the referee blows it down. So with 7:15 to go and a 3-goal lead, Grand Valley is going to go on to the power play. Grand Valley is already 2 for 3 this afternoon. We'll see if they can get that power play percentage up to 50%. 39 shots on goal for Maryville, and only 2 goals to show for it. So you have to figure, with this amount of time left in the contest, they're going to get to 40 shots in 2 games in a row. And as of right now, they've only got 5 goals to show for 80-plus shots. And in the collegiate game, that's just not really something that you'd expect as Legault covers up her rebound after that one kind of rolled down off of her blocker. But circling back to the point that I was trying to make earlier, it just, again, she's not going to be happy with her performance because you allow one goal and the goaltender's going to give you a negative response in terms of how they played. But it was just an odd day from the Maryville perspective, and Grand Valley came to play. They've been looking for their first win of the season. They're 6 minutes and 37 seconds away from that here this afternoon. This one goes off the glove and wide. But Grand Valley came out with a purpose, and Maryville was not prepared to answer. Callhammer brings it in shorthanded. From the right wing, avoids the stick check, looking for Rutherford in the middle and just out of reach. But that's the way she's gone here for Maryville. Passes like that, they've created opportunities here and there. But everything has just been slightly out of the reach, just a bit behind, step too slow, and what have you. Couple mistakes here and there. There haven't been a whole lot of turnovers, really. Just one of those games from the Maryville point of view. They've got 40 shots on goal, outshooting their opponent 40-20. Still 31 seconds left on the penalty to O'Leary. On the power play, here comes Sasek, drops it off for Stott. She's still sitting on a potential hat trick. Put it towards the 5-hole. A good stick placement from the Galt. Another face-off win for the Lakers. McCallion to Scram from the half wall to the point for Rubson. Tried to go rink wide. Shot was blocked. Rutherford trying to get there. She does. Clears it out. Rutherford is in along with Callhammer. Saints have killed it off, so there's a chance for Poisson, and that is turned away again. She just cannot get anything going offensively. One of the Saints' leading scorers over the last couple seasons. And this has just not been her year thus far. Rutherford tries to score, and she does. Schultz was leaning out, trying to drag that back with the paddle. Rutherford with Sally on the spot. She is able to get to it and just pop it up and over. And that's the third goal of the game. So Rutherford with her third of the weekend. She gets it at 15-11. And don't go anywhere just yet. The Saints hoping that they can put a little bit of a final stamp on this one. You got to get these in a hurry, though. They still trail by 2. Gerwitz puts it into the backside of Morris. San Luis had her pocket picked. Lefebvre gets it into the zone, not under control, but right now, with time on their side, they're more than content to just make Maryville go the length of the ice each time. Popped over the goal. St. Louis tries to recover. Gerwitz sees a rolling puck, hammers it right into the defender. Into the mixer. St. Louis knocked it down, but again, that puck just will not settle for the Saints. Even when it's on end, it just doesn't seem to bounce their way as this one kind of rings around. Gerwitz to O'Leary, trying to get it out of the skates. Too strong for O'Brien as it goes over to the far side. Rolling on end, 3:40 to go. Do the Saints have enough push for a mad comeback here this afternoon. They trail by 2. McCallion crosses the red line, taps it over the blue. McGowan gets to it. Out jousts McCallion. O'Leary is kept away by Ortiz. Second effort for McCallion, gets it down below the goal line. McGowan gets to it for Maryville. Off the dashers. Schultz stepped up from the blue line. Sprott is there. McGowan gets there first. Twisted around Callhammer. Sprott from the backhand. She's just going to carry it back to the blue line. Schultz on the near point. Skates up to the half wall. Wants to drop it back. Callhammer says no. But time ticking away. McGowan off the end wall. Dawson on the far side. Up north, they come in for Rutherford. She uses the space, and it's jabbed away along the top of the near circle. It's in behind the net. Poisson tried to cut it off the goaltender. Toole puts it towards goal. Poisson was there, couldn't get a stick to it. Don't think she anticipated that either. Schultz skates it up, flops one in towards goal, sticked over to the near hand side. 2 minutes left. Kelso, she's got Morris going up, and that puck just rolled over the stick. Kelso brings it in, loses it along the circle, regains in the corner. Morris from the hash marks. Gerwitz straight away off the skates. You got to put that on the tape. McCallion drops it. Plowman. Filtered out. Numbers favoring the Lakers, but it ends up as an icing call with 1:25 to go. So Maryville down by 2. And we've seen both on the men's and women's side as we've got another timeout taken. I have to figure that it was taken by Grand Valley this time, as they've got some fatigued players out there, so just trying to buy them a little bit of time since they can't make the change. The bench door is open, and Legault is over there. So we'll see whether or not she goes off, but we've seen it before at this level. A lot of the rankings are part of the formula is goals against, or goal differential, I should say. Both of them factor in, but goal differential is one of the bigger ones. And again, not trying to get too deep into it. I feel like that, I understand you have to have some sort of math in there in terms of getting collegiate rankings, but it takes away some of the spirit of it. Like you're down by 2. Every other level of the game, you're going to pull the goaltender because you're trying to go for the win. But in these instances, you're not allowed to do so because a 3-goal lead or a 3-goal loss actually hurts you more than a 2-goal loss would. But you lose the opportunity to maybe only lose by 1 or maybe tie it up. It's just one of those things that it will always frustrate me, but I haven't come up with a solution that would be any better. Saints still only had the 5 skaters out there because they did put Legault back in between the pipes. 1:10 left to go here. 2-goal lead for the Lakers. Can they hold on? Right now, the Saints are unable to really get control of the puck. Rutherford just blindly puts it into the middle. Swept over to the far boards. Rutherford will take it off the wall, drags it from the corner. Poisson takes down the defender. Referee, he thought about putting the whistle to his lips, but decided not to. Under the stick of Dawson, and the Saints will have to go basically the length of the ice. Gerwitz will gallop on up. A late change for Maryville, so Gerwitz was by herself momentarily, puts it off the goaltender, popped back out in front, but O'Leary didn't know it was there. Grand Valley will get it out to center. 24 seconds left, so again, stranger things have happened, but well, turnover there. That will pretty much do it. Grand Valley has done a great job here this afternoon. They're going to pick up their first win, and they have deserved every minute of it. They got things going back at 3:20 of the first period. Got a couple first period power play goals, and special teams ended up being a huge deciding factor in this one. As Grand Valley got 2 power play goals, they got a shorthanded goal, and Maryville did not score on 5 attempts. So the Saints made it interesting towards the end, but despite a glut of shots on goal, they couldn't get this result in their favor. They fall back to 500. They are 4-4-2. So we'll step aside for a quick break. When we come back, I'll give you the final thoughts on this contest as the Saints fall by the final score of 5-3 here on the Maryville Saints Hockey Network.
Hello, America. This is a message for the brave people who want to get a degree online on top of all the other things going on in their lives. The higher education system is broken. 75% of Americans say it's easier to succeed with a degree, but only 25% think the education system is fine the way it is. Something's not right. Here at Maryville University, we've been bravely disrupting the higher education system for nearly 150 years by putting students first, not the other way around. And now we're bringing it online. We believe education is not just about earning a degree, but about pursuing and achieving your dreams. That's why we develop programs in partnership with the businesses that will employ the leaders of tomorrow. The future belongs to the brave. Let's be brave together. Be brave and learn more now at maryville.edu/online.
And welcome back to the Maryville University Hockey Center. Todd Panula here to close things out. After a somewhat disappointing performance by your Maryville Saints, they drop one to Grand Valley State by a final of 5-3. It was really that shorthanded goal there in the third period that was an absolute dagger from the Maryville perspective, because they had the power play. Obviously, you never expect to give up a shorthanded goal, but what really put salt in that wound was the fact that Maryville was very close to scoring. They forced some quality saves on that power play attack, but it was just an absolute stellar performance from Sammy Schultz. She ends up closing out the night with 41 saves. So again, another 40-plus save night for the goaltenders for Grand Valley. But the Lakers end up getting the victory here tonight. It was not to be Hunley's night last night, despite 40-plus saves for her as well. But again, circling back, it was that McCallion shorthanded goal that came at 6:23 that really ended up being the difference. Just kind of a poor play through the middle, was able to spring a 2-on-1 attack on the shorthanded play for the Lakers. The initial save was made by Legault. She looked like she was going to bail out her teammates, and then all of a sudden the puck comes back from the end wall, finds McCallion on the back door. So the Saints just didn't get back quickly enough to thwart that attack, and it ended up being the difference in this game, really, because despite that goal in terms of the final score not having a huge impact, you have to figure if Maryville keeps that at 4-2 at the time, scores their own goal that Rutherford got at 15-11, then it's 4-3, then you can really push forward, maybe even pull the goaltender and get something going in the late stages there. But just from a momentum standpoint, I don't think they were able to mentally recover, physically recover from yesterday's game, and definitely from that shorthanded goal. So it ends up in a disappointing loss, because this team is probably better skill-wise than their record will show you. But as Coach Lang has said in some of his post-game comments in the past, they are what their record says they are. And right now, unfortunately, the Saints are basically a 500 team. They have not gotten things done on home ice. They're going to go, as I mentioned, to Nebraska to take part in a tournament over there. So we'll see whether or not they can pick up some victories. As I mentioned, they will play Midland on November 3rd. That will drop at 8:30. Central Time, and then they will play UMass on November 4th. That one is scheduled for 5 o'clock. Stay tuned once again to the Maryville Saints Women's Hockey social networks for any updates on those tournament games, as those can obviously vary depending on what happens within the rinks. But once again, the final here is a 5-3 loss. Make sure to stay tuned. Coming in the next day or so for our weekend recap. We'll go over all the results from this weekend, and hopefully we'll have some words with Coach Tommy Lang as well. But that'll wrap it up for our broadcast this afternoon. I thank Eric Skelton for making us look good behind the scenes. For everybody here at the Maryville Saints Hockey Network, we thank you for watching. I'm Todd Panula. Have a great day, Saints fans.
The Maryville Saints Hockey Network thanks you for watching this presentation of the American Collegiate Hockey Association.